So Eddie Hearn was saying something recently that I had a huge problem with, and I'm gonna address somebody else next that also said something about money. But when it comes to money and boxing and who deserves money and paydays and stuff, I don't want to hear about none of that. Uh, this is why I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the turkey on the sheet situation, and I'm gonna explain why. People had turkey on the sheet come around for this reason about, oh well, the fights we won and the money and we need this and this situation and that. Uh, Ennis has been in contact with Turkey Al Sheik. He had a meeting with him. Haney had a meeting with him. Then we have promoters like Eddie Hearn coming out now saying uh, Crawford doesn't want to take short money for a tough fight. Terrence Crawford don't want to take a short money for a tough fight. Is is Eddie Hearn thinking that Terrence Crawford is the only person that doesn't, in a way, doesn't want to take short money for a tough fight? And that's a fact. In a way, he's not taking short money for a tough fight. He just made what, $6 million to fight TJ Doheny, a guy whose back just went out during the fight. Or everybody's like, oh yeah, anyway, punched him in the back and he injured, or he punched him in the body and injured his back. No, sir. He was running so much in the fight because people say over here, fighters in America run. TJ Doheny, who's an Irishman, was running so much in the fight, he threw his back out. And they said that his back will be okay in a couple of days. That's not somebody who got punched and their back got injured. He had a back spasm because he's 37 years old. And he hasn't ran like that in his life. So at 37 years old, he just did the most contorting his body and just all over the place, moving and twisting his body to the point where trying to get away from Inoue to where he just had a back spasm. And I said that during the fight. Everybody's like, no, he injured himself punching him. Nah, man, he got injured running away from this guy. And Inoue just made millions fighting somebody who's not a tough fight. So what are you talking about? That's normal. That's the standard right now. And this guy's pound for pound. We're talking about a guy who lost 4 times in like 4 years. That's not a tough fight. It's not a tough fight, sir. So he's not taking short money. Joshua fought Ngannou and got what, $50 million? Ngannou got $20 million. That's not a tough fight. And that wasn't short. That wasn't short money. So what are we talking about out here? These guys talking about a tough fight like Virgil Ortiz for short money. Why would I fight a guy who almost lost his last fight? When I've seen other people look bad in certain fights, and people like, oh, this guy looks bad. Oh, he ain't ready for Tank. He ain't ready for this guy. But now we get in a situation where Virgil Ortiz looks bad in the fight, and people say, oh, the top guys need to fight him. What the hell is going on in boxing right now? What is going on? And I'm the only person asking this question because I don't do the propaganda and all the fake news. What is going on in boxing to where a guy like Virgil Ortiz would have a life? He would go through war in a fight like that. His face was smashed up. The other guy's face was clean. He got knocked down a couple times. And we're talking about Terrence Crawford don't want to take short money for a tough fight like Virgil Ortiz. He's 37 years old. If boxing hasn't tested Terrence Crawford yet, it's not going to ever test him. And then we got Eddie Hearn talking about Devin Haney, the money he's made and everything else. And Ryan Garcia just got his highest payday with Devin Haney. Eddie Hearn, it's not my fault that you wanted to pay Ryan Garcia more than what he made with Tank Davis. Not my fault. Ryan Garcia just made the most money he's ever made in his life. in his life. This dude hasn't been making 7, 8 figures his career. This dude ain't Oscar. He ain't been making that type of money. I was just watching him 8, 9 months ago on free app on the app. No pay-per-view. With an empty crowd. Quit acting like these guys bigger than what they are, man. Please. Please. Everybody asking for big money. Ryan Garcia's not even undisputed. Never been a champion. And he's making how much? Okay. And what tough fight? Without PEDs that he won? 0. So who asking for big money out here? Man, Oscar, he on something. Man, not Oscar, but Eddie Hearn, he's definitely on something, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what subject he's on or nothing. Because he's talking about it's a difficult time for Devin Haney decision-wise. And this is really, really important coming off that Ryan Garcia saga. If he was to get beat in his next fight, it would be a disaster for him. So let me tell y'all this. He said if Devin Haney was to lose 2 fights in a row, it would be a disaster. So when I sat up here and said it was a disaster that Joshua went out there and lost twice to Usyk after losing to Andy Ruiz by stoppage, nobody said it was a disaster. His own promoter just admitted that losing 2 fights, because my thing about it was Devin Haney didn't get stopped. Anthony Joshua did. He got stopped by Andy Ruiz, who people considered a journeyman at that point. Just being real, they consider him a journeyman. When nobody lining up to fight Andy Ruiz, they not lining up to fight him now. After he beat Joshua. Tell me I'm lying. The dude beat Joshua, and he got less fights after Joshua. Only person that was talking about fighting Andy Ruiz was Wilder. Then Wilder said, man, he asked for too much money. Everybody, oh, Wilder ducking. Zane said the same thing, and everybody else said the same thing. But asking for a certain amount of money, a lot of these guys don't want to take small money for the right fight. Bro, y'all want guys to fight the best, don't you? I mean, Eddie Hearn, if you don't want to promote guys who are fighting the big fights only and want big paydays, just deal with Canelo or go deal with Joe Cordina. Quit trying to sign these big fighters that you can't handle, or quit trying to set up these fights with guys that you don't feel like they're worth what they asking for. Because I know the truth about the whole Devin Haney situation. You wouldn't get no fights with no American fighters like that, especially on a huge scale before Devin Haney. I mean, you was doing Danny Jacobs and all those fights, but look at the Andre situation. Look at that situation. Everybody said, well, if I'm going to end up like that, I want to get paid. Oh, well, we trying to chase Canelo. We trying to do this. Man, ain't nobody got time for that, bro. We already have plenty of Americans trying to chase another boxer, and that's what's ruining boxing right now. That's why Jake Paul putting on fights every 3 months, and fans is going out just making it a big deal. That's why KSI is a big deal in boxing. These dudes putting on fights. They ain't waiting around where I got to fight every 6 months, and well, this guy, he can fight an easy. Everybody ain't putting on big fights. Everybody ain't putting on 50-50 fights. These guys need Turkey out of sheet to start making 50-50 fights. And look what's going on. Look what's going on. But yeah, he said it's a bit where the money's killed the game a little bit because it's just unrealistic to make certain fights. But the next move for Devin is very important. Bro, if you could promote for Anthony Joshua, you're going to be okay. Trust me. If we're seeing Anthony Joshua fight at a high level after losing to Usyk twice, if everybody can believe in Anthony Joshua, and I'm not throwing him under the bus, I'm just being real. If everybody can believe in Anthony Joshua, after getting stopped by Andrew Ruiz, which has to be one of the biggest upsets of the last 5-10 years. Wilder losing to Zhang or losing to Fury or Joseph Parker, that's not an upset because according to the fans, all those guys can box. They said Wilder can't box. So I don't think when a fan say a guy can't box and he ends up losing, that can never be an upset because you didn't think he could box in the first place. So how is that an upset? And that's a 50-50 fight. Unless you think Joseph Parker's a bum, who Anthony Joshua went tooth and nail with. Let's not forget that, and possibly lost that fight. Let's not forget that. Yeah, he did knock down Zhang in the amateurs. But when you gonna fight him now? So let's not act like all these dudes are just having tough fights. The only reason Andrew Ruiz was a tough fight is because Joshua got knocked down and stopped. That's why that was a tough fight. Before he stepped in the ring, nobody said that was a tough fight. And I told everybody, this guy's finna beat Joshua. And the only reason I said it because he had just came off of another fight and he was still in fighting shape. And I said, oh, that's a big mistake. Yeah, man, Eddie Hearn looking real skimp right now. He's kind of exposing himself right now. Don't put these big fights together. You can't handle it, bro. Period. He's the wrong man for the job, man. Let him just handle his fighters and get them out the way. At this point right now, and I'm being real. I'm being dead serious. Eddie Hearn's complaining, but he still wants to do fights with Devin Haney. He knows what time it is, man. You ain't making no money like that with other people that you're making with Devin Haney. If you are, then focus on those guys. Don't focus on Terrence Crawford or anything like that. Go over there where Canelo is at. This is why everybody is showing their hand now, because when Canelo had that Charlo fight coming up, nobody said nothing. Nothing. Nobody said anything about this Charlo and Canelo fight. I said, man, that's a waste of time for making that fight. Dude's a 54. Canelo done fought 47, Amir Khan. So Amir Khan, who Terrence Crawford can fight, he big enough. Man, ain't nobody trying to hear none of that, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. Y'all ain't trying to make no big fights, man. Y'all ain't trying to make no big fights. Y'all exposing y'allself, man. Y'all ain't trying to make no big fights. That's why everybody ain't paying for fights no more. No matter how much y'all lower the price, man, people don't trust y'all no more. That's all I got. Like and subscribe.